Thanks everyone for staying with us. It is exactly 32 years after the controversial annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. Now, Nigeria's former head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, is admitting for the first time that the late democracy hero, Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, MKO, won the election. Now, that startling revelation was contained in Mr. Babangida's 420-page memoir titled A Journey in Service, an autobiography of Ibrahim Babangida, which was launched in Abuja yesterday. And the book reviewer, former Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, said the evil genius and Maradona, as Babangida was nicknamed, answered the question as to whether Abiola won the June 12th election or not in his book. Babangida in the book said, quotes, "Although I am on record to have stated after the election that Abiola may not have won the election, upon further reflection and closer examination of all available facts, particularly the detailed election results which are published as an appendix of this book, there was no doubt that MKO Abiola won the June 12 elections," Babangida admitted in his book.
Upon closer examination of the original collated figure from the 110,000 polling booths nationwide, it was clear that he satisfied the two main requirements for winning the presidential election, mainly majority votes and geographical spread, having obtained 8,128,720 votes against Tophers, who polled 5,848,247 votes, and securing the mandatory of 1/3 of the votes cast in 28 states of the Federation, including Abuja, end of quote. During his address, Babangida, famously known as IBB, told the gathering that the annulment of the poll was in extreme national interest. He also stated that, and I quote, "As the leader of the military administration, I accept full responsibility for all decisions taken by me, and June 12 happened under my watch. Mistakes, oversights, and missteps happen in quick succession. But I say in my book, in all matters, we acted in extreme national interest so that Nigeria could survive," end of quote. For more on this revelation by the former head of state, we have in the studio the son of the late democracy hero, Abdulmumuni Abiola. Thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you. Well, finally, 32 years after June 12, General Ibrahim Babangida openly admits that Chief MKO Abiola, won the June 12 election. He also takes full responsibility of the event leading to the annulment. What sort of closure does this give your family, the family of Chief MKO Abiola?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. I think this is obviously an historic moment in the history of Nigeria. The first part of what you said was acknowledging that Abiola won the 1993 elections. I was about, I think, 8 years old in 1993. I knew my father won, and I was only 8. I think everybody who was around at that time would have felt the outpouring of joy in people's voices. I think we had the option A4. It wasn't like what we have today with like 90-something political parties. There were only 2 parties. You lined up behind your candidates. So before anybody had to count, you already knew who won. And I think it was already clear before. You didn't necessarily need to see the remaining results to know that Abiola had won. So for me, and for people who were supporting my father during that time, knew that Abiola had won that election. The part that I took to heart was his acknowledgement that he felt remorse for that action, because I think that was it was a tragic moment for not just the Abiola family, but for Nigeria as a whole. And for him to acknowledge that he felt he had remorse for the actions he took, and he even went further to say that if he was given an opportunity, he would take different decision, a different path. And I think, it's human to err, and if you know anything about this event, it's 32 years after, it's human to err. And for me, I think it's, the closure part is, it lays that matter to rest. Although everybody had the inclination that Abiola had won, it was never really announced. And he was the head of the government at the time. So this was a good time for him to put that matter to rest. For those who still were maybe on the fence to say, oh, maybe he won, maybe he didn't win, but now I think it's clear that he won. I think what we need to do is, Abiola was a messenger, but he also had a message. And I think it was the message that got him that election. He won that election for him. So Abiola didn't vote for himself. 8 million people voted for him, right? So he must have expressed a vision to the people, for them to give him their mandate. And I think that was what Nigeria, that's what we missed out on, is that unity that was forged in that 1993 election.
So does this give the family closure?
First of all, I'm Abdul Abiola, and my father is a big family, so I don't know if this alone gives a closure. Like a couple years ago, the former president, General Muhammad Buhari, he actually acknowledged my father and awarded him GCFR. I think sometimes, with Babangida now actually, saying that this was the man who won, I think what we need to now start thinking about is, one, like I said, the country was, traumatized. The Abiola family was shattered during that whole period. I remember that after the annulment, my dad was going out trying to fight for his mandate, and then he subsequently gets arrested, imprisoned, and then later dies. My mom, once he was in prison, my mom, Kudirat Abiola, came out to fight, to say, look, enough is enough. Let's do the things right way. That way we can move forward. And she subsequently lost her life in that struggle. So, for me, I don't dwell on the past. I think it's most important that we focus on the future. And for me, the messenger is not here, but the message is still relevant. It still is sustainable. And I think what we need to understand about that message was Nigeria for all. Nigeria that was not defined by our ethnic divisions, but by what brings us together, which is a common future. And I think that was what was most important. So for me, I acknowledge what the former head of state said about my father. Like I said, I knew this to be true. I'm just happy that he has come out to express his remorse about this. And like I said, as a Muslim, I believe that Allah decides all these things. So, like he has said what he has said. For me, I'm just trying to see how we can move Nigeria to a place where my father will be pleased to see.